They smiled while they counted. They nodded while they calculated your worth. They signed papers with calm hands and nervous eyes. And somewhere between the numbers and the silence, they decided you were the price. Not because you failed, not because you were weak, but because you were convenient. They sacrificed you for money. And here's the part that should make your jaw tighten. It didn't even work. They still didn't get what they wanted. No, no, no. So if you feel that pressure in your chest right now, good. That's not fear, that's recognition. You've felt it before. The sudden shift in tone, the meeting that felt colder than usual, the praise that stopped without explanation. One day you were valuable. The next day you were too much, or not aligned, or simply ignored. Funny how numbers can erase years of effort. Funny how loyalty is praised only until it becomes expensive. They told themselves a story to sleep at night, that this was business, that emotions don't belong in decisions, that replacing you was logical. But deep down they knew. You weren't removed because you lacked value. You were removed because you had it. And value scares people who only understand cost. Let me paint the picture clearly. They wore calm faces, professional smiles, clean words with sharp edges. They said it was necessary. They said it was timing. They said it was strategy. Strategy is such a polite word for fear. Fear of your growth. Fear of your independence. Fear that one day you would stop asking for permission. So they made the move first. Quietly, efficiently. They thought removing you would fix their problem. What they didn't realize is that you were never the problem. You were the mirror. And mirrors make liars uncomfortable. Here's where the story twists. Because being sacrificed does something strange to a person. At first, it hurts. Then it confuses. Then it clears the fog. You start replaying moments, the signs you ignored, the instincts you silenced to keep the peace. Peace was never the goal. Control was. And the moment you stopped being easy to control, the offer changed. So don't sit there asking why it happened. Ask why it took this long for the truth to show its face. This wasn't betrayal. This was exposure. And listen carefully now, because this part is not about them anymore. This is about you sitting there, watching this, pretending you're just listening. You're not. You're remembering. That tight smile you forced. That calm reply you sent while your hands shook. You told yourself to move on, to be mature, to stay quiet. But silence doesn't heal clarity. It buries it. And buried clarity turns into hesitation. That's why you're here. Not for comfort, for confirmation. For the reminder that losing a seat at their table saved you from becoming what they are. So let's be honest, just for a moment. They thought money would replace presence. They thought cutting you loose would balance the equation. They thought you were a piece, not the foundation. And now look at the result. The cracks they tried to hide are louder. The progress they expected stalled. The energy shifted. Because removing substance doesn't create strength. It exposes weakness. And the most dangerous thing you can become is someone who sees clearly and has nothing left to prove. This is only the beginning. Because what happens after the sacrifice is where the real power forms. Not loud, not flashy, but precise, controlled, deliberate. No. This is not a story about revenge. It's about elevation without permission, about rebuilding without announcing, about becoming so grounded that no transaction can buy your silence again. Stay here, because in the next part, we talk about what they never planned for. The moment you stopped being their loss and started being their reminder. They never saw it coming. Not the way you moved, not the way you shook off the dust, not the way you stared at the same world that tried to cage you and smiled without permission. That's the problem with people who trade lives for money. They think control is permanent. They think fear is transferable. They think a boardroom, a contract, or a signature can erase a human being. No, no, no. You are not a line item. You are the equation they forgot to calculate. When they cut you loose, they thought they won. They imagined you small, passive, defeated. But every second they celebrated your absence, you were growing. Every moment they laughed behind closed doors, you were sharpening. Every paper they signed, every deal they finalized, you were learning. Quietly, efficiently, precisely. Because victory is not about who screams the loudest. Victory is about who survives while the noise dies down. Look at them now. Panic hiding behind practiced smiles, stress behind their polished decisions. They wanted results. They wanted submission. They wanted control. And what they got was clarity staring them in the face. You didn't bend. You didn't negotiate. You didn't apologize for existing. And that is what terrifies people who can only think in profits and losses. There's a certain joy in watching the numbers fail, isn't there? Here's the harsh truth. They didn't just lose you. They lost the very thing they tried to buy with money. Respect, integrity, focus, vision. They tried to replace you with someone cheaper, someone quieter, someone they could bend. And now the cracks are everywhere. The energy they expected? Gone. The momentum? Stalled. Their calculation? Wrong. You see, the irony isn't subtle. It's deliciously obvious. They sacrificed you for money, and still the outcome wasn't theirs to command. And now it's your turn. The spotlight is no longer on them. It's on you. No, no, no. This is the moment you stop watching and start acting. Not with anger, not with vengeance, but with clarity, with strategy, with the calm satisfaction of someone who knows their value and refuses to negotiate it again. Every step you take, every choice you make is a reminder you cannot be bought, you cannot be replaced, you cannot be erased. This is where the story flips. Because being discarded is not weakness, it is preparation. Every slight, every calculated dismissal, every necessary move against you, it was the training ground, the test, the reveal. The irony is that they thought they were shaping the world, but all they did was shape you, stronger, sharper, clearer, ready to rise without apology, without announcement, without needing permission. And when you rise, they'll realize too late what they sacrificed. They'll look around, panic spreading across polished faces, and they'll understand the truth they never wanted to face. Removing you did not remove power. It exposed theirs. It highlighted their weakness. And you are the reminder that real value cannot be measured in contracts, checks, or titles. Real value is something deeper, something they never owned, something they can never take. So now, here's your choice. Sit and watch the chaos they created. Relive the betrayal. Or stand, rise, and let the silence speak louder than their greed ever could. No, no, no. The game isn't over. The board isn't empty. And the most powerful move is not revenge, it's presence, purpose, precision. Watching them realize that what they sacrificed was never theirs to own in the first place. Because when the dust settles, when the papers are signed and the meetings end, only one thing remains: you. And that, my friend, is a victory they could never buy. Never forget it. Now listen carefully. This is where most people crack. Most people stay quiet. Most people bow down, swallow the pain, and pretend it never happened. Not you. Not anymore. You've seen behind the curtain. You've felt the cold calculation of those who thought they could measure you with money. You've watched their smiles fade when they realized their plan failed. Sweet, isn't it? The moment of clarity, the moment you understand that being discarded is not the end, it's the beginning. Because here's the truth: they will never tell you. They cannot take what they never owned. They cannot break what was never weak. They cannot silence someone who has already learned to listen to themselves. No, no, no. Every move they made to control you, every word they whispered behind doors, every strategy to replace you, it only revealed how powerless they really are. And power? Real power? It isn't in contracts. It isn't in money. It isn't in forcing others to obey. It's in presence, in awareness, in knowing your worth, and never ever surrendering it. Now you're awake. Now you're aware. And the game has changed. You see, this isn't about them anymore. It's about you. About every step you take, every breath you claim, every opportunity you seize without apology. They thought they could buy loyalty. They thought they could calculate obedience. They thought removing you would be enough. But they forgot the one rule they never understood. You cannot be calculated. You cannot be controlled. You cannot be sacrificed. This is the moment of rise. Quiet, precise, intentional. No, no, no. Forget revenge. Forget proving them wrong. Forget the noise of their panic. What matters is your presence, your growth, your clarity. Every word you speak, every step you take, every achievement you earn is a silent punch to the face of everyone who doubted you. Every greedy hand that tried to manipulate you, every expert who claimed you were replaceable. The sweetest victories are the ones they don't even see coming. And when they finally look around, when the chaos of their miscalculations surrounds them, they will realize one undeniable truth. The person they tried to sacrifice was never theirs to control. Every contract, every threat, every strategy they failed. And you rose, stronger, sharper, clearer, free. Free to command your own life. Free to define your own success, free to watch as they scramble to understand what they lost. So stand, rise, step into your power with no hesitation, no apology, no permission. No, no, no. The world tried to cage you. Money tried to silence you. Control tried to bend you. And yet here you are. Whole, strong, ready. And in that moment, you will understand the ultimate truth. They sacrificed you for money, and still they didn't get what they wanted. Because what they wanted was never theirs to take. Remember this. Always. They underestimated you. They miscalculated you. They dismissed you. And now, every move you make is proof. Proof that presence is stronger than price. Proof that clarity is more powerful than calculation. Proof that no one, no system, no transaction can erase the essence of someone who refuses to be sacrificed. This is your victory. Quiet, deadly, absolute. And it starts now. Now it's your turn to decide. Not them. Not the world. Not the ones who tried to price your presence like a commodity. This is about you. Right here, right now. Every thought you had about holding back, every doubt you swallowed, every time you silenced yourself for their comfort. Burn it. No, no, no. The past is not a chain. It's a map. Every betrayal, every dismissal, every calculated move against you is a blueprint for what you are meant to become. You've seen the truth. They never controlled you. They never owned you. Every contract, every deal, every handshake was just an illusion. And illusions, they shatter under pressure. But you are solid. You are aware. You are relentless. Not because of anger, not because of revenge, but because clarity is unstoppable when it is honed in silence. Every step you take now, every move you make is intentional. Every word you speak carries weight. Every action reflects power they cannot comprehend. This is your rise. The rise that no calculation, no money, no strategy could ever prevent. The rise that happens quietly, methodically, deliberately, because the world only notices what it's prepared to understand, and they were not prepared to understand you. No, no, no. That's your advantage. That's your freedom. That's your moment. You do not need approval. You do not need acknowledgement. You do not need validation from the ones who tried to sacrifice you. Look at your life like a board. Every choice they forced you to make, every obstacle they planted, every dismissal they created your arena. And now the arena is yours. You play the game by your rules. You set the terms. You define the outcome. And the sweetest part, they are forced to watch as you climb, forced to watch as their strategy fails spectacularly, forced to watch as the person they tried to erase becomes the person they cannot ignore. This is the ultimate truth. They sacrificed you for money and still didn't get what they wanted. Because what they wanted wasn't control. It wasn't submission. It wasn't obedience. What they wanted was the part of you that can never be bought. The part of you that can never be caged. The part of you that refuses to shrink to fit their calculations. And now that part is unstoppable. So step forward. No hesitation. No doubt. No fear. No, no, no. Claim your space. Build your momentum. Show up with presence, so strong it cannot be ignored. Speak with authority, so clear it cannot be questioned. Move with purpose so precise it cannot be predicted. And as you do, remember this. Every chain they tried to place on you, every shadow they tried to cast, every sacrifice they made, they only built the foundation for your rise. The curtain has fallen. The stage is yours. And the final scene? It is absolute. It is undeniable. It is proof. Proof that when the world tries to buy you, control you, and sacrifice you, the true victory belongs to the one who refuses to be owned. The moment is now. Step into it. Own it. And watch the world realize too late that you were never theirs to take. Bro, listen up. Everyone thought they had you figured out? Nah, yeah, they wanted your confession. Every eye on you, every word waiting. Oh wow, they thought you'd crumble? Wrong. You didn't flinch? You didn't speak? Silence became your weapon. They screamed for answers. They demanded chaos? And you smiled in shadows. Oh, can they even understand? No. The louder they shouted, the stronger you became. Yeah? Patience turned into power? Nah. Every expectation crushed under your quiet domination? You were untouchable, unseen, unstoppable. Oh wow, they'll never forget the echo, the aftermath of your silence. They stared. They wanted a crack. They wanted your collapse. Oh, it's suffocating, isn't it? The moment you step into the room and every single eye turns toward you like a predator sizing up prey. You feel their gaze crawling across your skin, burning into your bones, asking questions your lips will never answer. They wanted to see fear. They wanted to hear a confession. They wanted the story spilling out in a mess of regret and hesitation. But you smiled in silence. Oh yes, you smiled. Do you feel it? That electric tension in the air when words are demanded but none come? It's delicious, really. It's a trap set by their own arrogance, their need for control, their obsession with knowing what they can't see. And yet here you are, still, calm, unmoving. They think they own the conversation. They think they dictate the outcome. Nah, not today, not ever, not like this. You've turned the tables before they even realized a game was being played. Every question they throw is a test. Every insinuation, a hammer. They want you to bend, to flinch, to crumble under scrutiny. Oh wow. They don't realize strength doesn't shout. Strength doesn't beg. Strength waits. Strength observes. Strength builds walls with bricks they can't even imagine. And when you speak in silence, oh, that's where chaos lives. That's where power whispers. They can't touch it. They can't own it. And they certainly cannot control it. Silence is not absence. Nah, it's strategy. It's a weapon sharper than any blade. While they clamor, while they scream for the truth, you have already won battles inside your mind. You've dissected every doubt, every insecurity, every twitch of impatience they've projected onto you. You are untouchable, not because they fear you, though they do, but because your mind is your citadel and no one has the key. Oh wow. Imagine it. They lean in closer, their voices lower. They think pressure will make you spill. They don't know that pressure is your playground. Each tick of the clock is a drumbeat. Each second a heartbeat of rebellion. You don't react. You observe. You endure. They think patience is weakness. Nah. Patience is your battlefield. And every second you hold is another strike against the illusion of their power. And here's the cruel, glorious truth. They will never understand it. They will never understand why silence cuts deeper than words, why absence speaks louder than confessions, why restraint becomes a force that even the boldest cannot touch. You have discovered what they will never discover. Power does not roar. Power, oh yes, power whispers, waits, and conquers without warning. They wanted chaos. They wanted vulnerability. They wanted to see the human unravel. Oh wow, they got the opposite. Calm, unshakable, impenetrable. You exist in a state they cannot disrupt, a presence they cannot decode, a force they cannot anticipate. Every glance you ignore, every word you withhold, is a strike that lands without contact. They feel it. They tremble beneath it. And yet they ask again, and again, and again. Oh yeah, they will never learn. Because here's the hook, the part that twists their expectations into knots. They expected a confession. They expected a crack. They expected submission. And all you gave them was silence. What happens when silence speaks louder than a scream? Silence isn't absence. Silence is a battle they cannot win. Oh, they think the world bends to the loudest voice. They think volume is victory. But they are fools. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is not surrender. Silence is a weapon forged in the fire of self-command, sharpened with patience, honed with endurance. Every unspoken word is a strike. Every withheld reaction is a trap. And oh, they are walking straight into it. Do you hear it? That subtle tremor in the air when they realize you won't respond. That tiny shift in posture. That micro-expression of frustration crawling across their faces. They want you to justify, to explain, to crumble under expectation. Nah, you let them hang in their own confusion. You let their minds twist and writhe, trying to fill the void you deliberately left. Every question they fire is a projectile, and every insinuation is a blade. They think silence is weakness. They think stillness is a pause before defeat. Oh yeah, that's cute. You have already anticipated the patterns. You have already dissected the motives. You have already built a fortress of the mind that no invasion can breach. Each tick of the clock is your ally. Each second of patience is another move in a game they didn't even know existed. And oh, the beauty of it. The absolute glorious beauty is watching them scramble without realizing you've already won. They think chaos will force confession. They think threats will crack your armor. Nah, chaos is your playground. Their pressure becomes your rhythm. Their doubt becomes your fuel. Their insistence becomes the proving ground of your resilience. Every attempt to provoke you only strengthens the citadel inside your mind. You've discovered a truth they will never grasp. Power is not in surrendering to noise. Power is in mastering it. Power is in being the calm while storms rage around you. Oh wow. Imagine the frustration coursing through their veins while they shout, while they demand, while they lean closer. And you do nothing except existence. Existence itself, refined into unshakable resolve, is louder than any confession they crave. And here's the twist. Every silence you hold is a mirror. They see themselves in it, their own impatience, their own fear of exposure, their own weakness reflected in the void you maintain. Oh yeah, they hate it. They loathe it, but they cannot escape it. They cannot force it to bend. And the more they try, the deeper they fall into the trap of their own expectations. Oh wow. And when they finally realize the truth, it won't matter how loud they scream, how much they demand, how hard they push. Silence is not passive. Silence is aggressive. Silence is a battlefield where they fight shadows, and shadows are yours to command. They wanted a confession. They wanted a collapse. They wanted chaos to spill from your lips. And instead, they got strategy. They got strength. They got untouchable dominance. Yes, they thought they were hunting prey. They thought they could force submission. Nah, you've rewritten the rules. You've turned patience into a weapon. You've turned endurance into fire. You've turned observation into an unstoppable force. And in that moment, in that perfect, undefinable moment, you hold the power they cannot even name. And what if the world never sees your battle, but feels the aftermath? They cannot see what moves beneath your skin. They cannot feel what burns inside. Oh, they think power must announce itself. They think strength must be loud, visible, undeniable. But here's the cruel truth. The strongest forces are those that move silently, invisibly, leaving traces only in the aftermath. They hunt for your confessions. They crave your reactions. They yearn for signs of vulnerability. And while they search, you've already transformed every unspoken thought into an instrument of control. Do you feel it? That quiet hum of influence, the unseen currents that twist the air around you, the subtle shifts that happen without you lifting a finger. Every moment, they underestimate you. Every glance they cast, expecting weakness, feeds the power they cannot measure. Oh wow, it's intoxicating, isn't it? To know that the world bends to patience, that restraint has teeth sharper than any scream, sharper than any attack. They want movement. They demand motion. They insist on answers. Nah, you give them none. You let their minds spin, tangled in confusion, while you remain the calm in the eye of their storm. Every silence you hold is a hammer. Every withheld word is a spark. Every ignored provocation is a lesson in dominance. They feel it. Yeah. Oh, they feel it, but they cannot touch it. They cannot name it. They cannot control it. And that is power in its purest form. Oh, the irony is beautiful. They think the battle is external. Nah, the real war is inside you. It has always been inside you. Every doubt they cast, every pressure they apply, every expectation they set, it was meant to break you. But oh, yeah, you transformed it. Every challenge became a training ground. Every scrutiny became a lesson in focus. Every attempt to provoke became proof that your mind was untouchable, unshakable, uncompromised. And here's the kicker. They never see it. They cannot see the internal mastery, the strategy unfolding in silence, the mind calculating every angle while the world screams for noise. Oh wow. Yeah, they only see the aftermath. They see results. They feel influence. They experience consequences. And they will never understand the battlefield that existed entirely inside you, unseen, untouchable, unstoppable. Every unspoken truth is a message. Every restraint is a declaration. They expected confession, chaos, noise, and you gave them precision. You gave them control without loss. You gave them presence without exposure. And the most delicious part? The world only feels it. It only bends to it. It cannot name it. And the stronger it tries to resist, the more it proves your dominance. And in this unseen power, you become something inevitable. Not a loud legend, not a shattered myth, but a force they cannot escape. Every attempt to unravel you simply reinforces your mastery. Every expectation they have is a mirror of your strength, reflecting back what they cannot dismantle. Silence is no longer absence, it is presence. Presence so absolute, so undeniable, that even the world obeys its rhythm without ever realizing it. And in that quiet dominance lies a question they cannot answer. Do they fear you, or do they wonder why they fear you? They cannot storm what is already untouchable. Oh, the world doesn't understand. It never does. They see bodies, faces, voices, but they cannot see the citadel of the mind. They think influence comes from presence. Nah. Influence begins in stillness. It begins in thought. It begins in the fortress you build where no one else can enter, no one else can disrupt, no one else can even imagine. Every whisper, every demand, every attempt to break you becomes part of your architecture. You don't react, you calculate, you observe, you wait. Every second spent in patience becomes a layer of steel. Every unspoken word becomes a lock they cannot pick. Every ignored provocation is a lesson in precision. Oh, yeah, that's the subtle violence of control. They feel it, but they cannot locate it. They cannot touch it. And the more they try, the stronger it becomes. Wow. Think about it. Every expectation they place on you is an illusion, a map leading straight into the trap you designed. Every assumption they make becomes a mirror reflecting their own weakness. And in that reflection, they stumble, unaware that the real power lives inside the quiet mind that bends for no one. They want a confession. They want a slip. They want a mistake. But your mastery is absolute. Your awareness is complete. And their world? It twists around your silence like a shadow chasing light, futile, endless, and utterly contained. You have learned what they cannot teach. Restraint is not absence. Focus is not limitation. Patience is not surrender. Nah, it is dominance. Mental supremacy, the ability to control chaos without appearing to touch it. Every observation you make, every subtle calculation, every deliberate pause is a hammer striking in a rhythm they will never feel coming. Oh wow. Imagine the irony. They think they control you, but in reality, every move they make is predicted, anticipated, and used as fuel for your ascent. And it's more than strategy. It's transformation. You are forging yourself into a force they cannot name. Every time they demand an answer, every time they push for a confession, you smile quietly inside. Oh yes, you smile, because the chaos they hope to unleash is already yours to command. Their impatience becomes your tool. Their expectation becomes your rhythm. Their frustration becomes the proof of your untouchable design. Yeah, it's intoxicating, isn't it? To exist above their calculations, to see the strings they think they pull turn into chains binding them instead. You are untouchable, not because you crush, not because you shout, not because you move faster than them, but because you are disciplined, calm, aware, patient. Every silence is a declaration. Every pause is a message. Every unspoken reaction is louder than the roar they crave. And the most delicious truth? They never see the battlefield where this war was fought. Every victory exists in the mind. Every dominance exists in quiet mastery. Every moment of control is invisible to them. Oh nah, they only feel the consequences. They only feel the rhythm of your inevitability. They only feel the pull of a force they cannot grasp. You stand above expectation. You stand above pressure. You stand above chaos. And the world, oh, The world feels the ripples of your mind before it even realizes you are moving. Every act of restraint, every careful thought, every calculated silence, it bends reality without lifting a finger. And when the world finally understands your mind, will they be ready to face what they cannot break? Silence is not surrender. Silence is supremacy. Oh, yes, you've arrived at the edge, the point where everything converges, the eyes that watched, the voices that demanded, the expectations that pressed in like iron walls. They wanted chaos. They wanted vulnerability. They wanted the moment you'd crumble. Nah, you didn't give them that. You didn't even hint. You spoke in silence. And silence, oh wow, silence has a way of echoing louder than the world itself. Do you feel it? The tremor beneath the surface, the subtle shifting of energy around you. Every unspoken word, every withheld reaction, every patient moment has stacked into a force so absolute, so inevitable, that the world moves without realizing your hand guided it. They cannot trace it. They cannot name it. They cannot resist it. And yet, they feel it. Yeah. Oh yes, they feel it. You have become untouchable. Not by shouting louder than anyone else, not by breaking someone else's will, but by mastering the only thing that matters, the one thing that no one else can claim, yourself. Every doubt you've endured, every temptation to react, every insistence to explain, you converted it into armor. Every moment of restraint became a monument. Every moment of observation became strategy. And now, all of it converges into inevitability. Oh wow. Imagine it. They are standing there, still demanding answers that will never come. They are searching for cracks that no longer exist. Every glance they cast is met with calm. Every word they hurl bounces against an invisible wall. And that wall, oh, it's stronger than anything they've ever encountered. They wanted a confession. They wanted weakness. They wanted a reaction. And you gave them none. Only silence. Only control. Only dominance. Yeah, it's intoxicating, isn't it? To exist in a state where the world's chaos becomes your rhythm, the noise of others fuels your precision, and every expectation bends to the power of restraint. They may think they influence you, nah, the truth is you influence them. Without speaking, without showing, without giving them even a hint. And every failed attempt to provoke you only cements your supremacy further. And here's the final, delicious truth. No one will ever truly see the battles you fought inside, the fires you walked through, the patience you carved from chaos. Oh wow, it doesn't matter. The world only needs to feel the outcome. Presence, command, control. Untouchable inevitability. Every movement, every glance, every decision radiates power because it comes from a mind that will never be broken, a soul that will never be shaken, and a resolve that will never yield. You have become the legend they never predicted. Not because of noise, not because of force, not because of chaos, but because you understood the secret no one else could. The world bends not to confessions, but to mastery. Not to words, but to presence. Not to chaos, but to patience. Oh, yes, every silence was a step. Every restraint was a path. Every unspoken word was a declaration. And now, Standing here, they realize too late you were never theirs to unravel. And in this silence lies a question they cannot answer. Who controls whom? Theirs was the noise. Yours was the command. Theirs was the expectation. Yours was the inevitability. And as you stand, untouchable, unshakable, undeniable, they are left with nothing but the echo of your silence, the aftermath of your mastery, the proof that power never needs to speak to be absolute. They wanted your confession, but you spoke in silence. And in silence, you became legend. And now, oh yeah, they stare at nothing. The silence you held, the power you mastered, nah, it's permanent. Every expectation shattered, every demand unanswered. Oh wow, they feel it, but they'll never touch it. You spoke without speaking. You conquered without fighting. Yeah, every unspoken word became a declaration. Remember this? Everyone wanted your confession, but you chose silence. Untouchable, unstoppable, undeniable. Oh, can they ever recover? No, you are the echo, the storm, the legend they'll never forget. Hey bro, can you even believe this? What they did to you is beyond disgusting. Seriously, people are furious. They didn't just cross the line, they obliterated it. An innocent person, attacked. Nah, that's unforgivable. Every whisper, every glance, every sly move they made was meant to break you. But wait, did they really think you'd just sit there? Oh wow, the audacity of them. The world saw it. And yeah, it's shaking with rage. And now, it's time to talk about it, to expose it, to feel it. This isn't just injustice. It's a call, a warning, a reckoning. Some people cross lines and then act like they didn't see the blood. Do you feel it? That sharp electric pulse running through your veins? The rage, the disbelief, the raw, unfiltered shock of watching the innocent being struck down like prey in the open. Oh wow, it's obscene, it's grotesque. It's the kind of thing that leaves your soul trembling, questioning everything you thought was fair, just, or untouchable. And yet, here we are. Here you are, standing in the ruins of their audacity. They did it. Yes, they did it. They took a life, or a spirit, or a name, and they threw it into the mud for the world to trample. Nah, you feel the weight of it, don't you? The way the air itself seemed to shiver when their injustice landed, leaving the scent of fear and contempt in its wake. People whisper, people watch, and some, they cheer. But you know what it feels like when the scales are tipped, and innocence is crushed under the iron boot of cruelty. You weren't ready. Whoever is. They came with their sneers, their hidden daggers, their cold, calculating intent. And what did they expect? That you'd stay silent? That the world would just shrug and move along? No. They underestimated one simple truth, one undeniable law of nature. You do not destroy the pure without awakening the storm. You do not strike an innocent without igniting a fire. And now, people are furious. You can feel it, can't you? That trembling tension in the crowd, that slow tightening of fists, the quiet rage that simmers beneath polite nods and forced smiles. It's disgusting, isn't it? The cruelty of it, the audacity, The sheer brazenness of striking someone who could never defend themselves because they trusted, because they believed in fairness, because they carried nothing but honesty in their chest. And for what? For amusement? For envy? For some twisted sense of superiority that will rot in their minds as their deeds echo in the hollow chambers of guilt? Yes, it's disgusting. But here's the thing. Here's the truth no one dares speak out loud. It's not just about what they did to you. No, it's about what this moment reveals, about what it exposes. The fragile facade of civility, the paper-thin walls of pretension we all hide behind. And when the innocent is attacked, when morality itself is mocked and trampled, everything fractures. People see, people feel, and that's the turning point. That's where fear flips into something else, something darker, something powerful. You might be wondering, right? How does one survive such raw, naked injustice? How do you stand when the world seems bent on proving that innocence is a liability, a weakness to be exploited? The answer is both simple and terrifying. You endure. You observe. You let the anger settle like a poison. Let it circulate. Let it sharpen every sense until your mind becomes a blade honed on betrayal and outrage. You study the faces, the gestures, the whispers. You memorize the cracks in their confidence. And then you prepare. Oh yes, you prepare for the reckoning that is coming. Because make no mistake, this is not the end. This is not just a scar to be ignored or a lesson to be half learned. No, this is the ignition, the first spark. And from the ashes of their vile action, something unstoppable begins to rise. Something the guilty never saw coming. Something that hums with inevitability. Something that forces the world to look back and ask, what happens when the ones who were wronged decide the story will no longer belong to the offenders? And that is where the real question lies. Power hides in the quietest fury, waiting, just waiting to be noticed. Oh, do you feel it now? That tremor under your skin, that relentless pulse that refuses to be ignored, the anger that once seemed a burden has shifted. Yeah, it has transformed. It's no longer a shallow emotion, it is a force, a current strong enough to bend reality. And every injustice, every whisper of mockery, every cruel glance thrown at the innocent, it feeds this force. They thought they were striking a victim. Nah, they were sharpening a weapon. Watch closely. Observe the world around you. It trembles without knowing why. People speak carefully. They glance over shoulders. They sense the awakening of something that cannot be contained. And you? You are learning its rhythm. You are understanding its heartbeat. The fury that bubbled inside now stretches into clarity. Every unfair blow becomes data. Every sneer becomes strategy. Every act of malice, a map. You see the cracks in their arrogance. You see the weakness masked as confidence. And slowly, methodically, you gather the power they never expected you could harness. It's astonishing, isn't it? How injustice, when faced with unwavering focus, becomes a teacher instead of a tormentor. Oh wow, it's beautiful in a terrible way. Every humiliation, every attempt to diminish you, every underhanded strike, it teaches you what they never realized. Survival is not enough. Survival is passive. Power, true power, is about understanding the world so well, so deeply, that their attacks rebound back with force they cannot withstand. And here's where the shift begins. Where the world trembles at a force it cannot name, your rage becomes measured, disciplined. Your fury becomes precise, like a surgeon's blade. And suddenly, what was once emotional chaos becomes a weapon of clarity. People notice. They watch. They whisper. They fear. And isn't that the most satisfying part? The truth that they have underestimated you. That the innocent they sought to crush now carries the seeds of their undoing. But let me ask you this. What do you do with that power once it awakens? Do you lash out blindly? Do you surrender to the temptation of blind rage? No. You channel it. You refine it. You let it grow quietly, methodically, while the world remains unaware of the storm gathering beneath the calm. Oh, the beauty of patience, the elegance of timing, the art of letting their own misdeeds build the scaffolding of your strength. Yes, fury has become power, but the next step is far more terrifying, because now it is no longer about anger. No, it is about control. Control over perception, control over opportunity, control over the narrative that once threatened to define you as a victim. And when the innocent rises with such force, when clarity and patience fuse with rage, then and only then do the tables begin to turn. The world leans in, unknowingly, toward a reckoning they never imagined. And so the question lingers. It hangs in the air, inescapable, inevitable. What happens when the weapon forged from injustice is aimed not at chaos, but at precision? What happens when the fury of the wronged becomes unstoppable strategy? They never imagined the quiet ones could roar until it was too late. Oh, can you feel the shift? That subtle tremor that grows into a quake? Yeah, it's happening. The tables have turned. Subtly at first, almost imperceptibly, but with every calculated step, every measured breath, the predator emerges. The one they thought was defenseless, the one they tried to bury beneath insults and attacks, is rising. Eyes sharpened, mind focused, intent clear. Nah, this isn't vengeance for its own sake. This is awareness transformed into action, precision tempered by rage. It's astonishing what happens when the innocent refuses to stay small, when the world expects silence, meekness, compliance, and instead finds clarity and determination staring back at it with a calm that hides a storm. People see it, they feel it, they hesitate. And oh, the irony. Those who thrived on fear, on power over the defenseless, now tremble in the shadow of someone they deemed weak. They never considered that the very ones they attacked could become the architects of reckoning. And this is not chaos. This is strategy. This is patience refined into action. Every insult they threw, every attempt to belittle, every calculated blow intended to break you has been stored, analyzed, and transformed into insight. You know their weaknesses, their patterns, the blind spots in their confidence. You are the storm they never trained for, never prepared for. And the beauty of it? They still don't see it coming. They think the innocent bows. They think the quiet hides fear. Oh wow, how wrong they are. Every move you make now carries weight. Every glance, every step, every decision resonates with inevitability. The world that attacked you, that mocked you, that sought to humiliate the pure begins to bend, subtly, under your influence. But this is just the beginning. The predator moves quietly, studies carefully, waits for the perfect moment to strike. Not recklessly, not out of blind rage, but with the certainty of inevitability. And yet, a question rises, sharp as a blade. When the tables turn and the predator is revealed, when the innocent becomes unstoppable, how far will you go? How far will your focus stretch? How precise will your strategy become before the world finally realizes that the game they played, the cruelty they assumed would remain unchallenged, has already turned against them? Yes, the predator exists now. The power of innocence, tempered by clarity and fueled by outrage, has awakened. And what comes next will leave them questioning everything they ever thought they controlled. The cornered are the most dangerous because they have nothing left to lose but everything to claim. Yeah, you can feel it now. That tension in the air, electric and sharp, like every breath is a countdown. The world that attacked, that laughed, that believed innocence was weak. Oh wow, it begins to sense its own fragility. Every sneer, every calculated cruelty you endured has become its own boomerang. And now it returns with force, precision, inevitability. Nah, they thought they could break you. They thought the innocent bows silently. They never imagined you could rise with such clarity, such unshakable focus, such cold, measured power. The energy around you shifts. People watch, some nervously, others in disbelief. They recognize the movement, the subtle force that bends the rules without breaking them. It's not chaos. It's order, rebuilt from outrage. It's a careful unmasking of what they thought untouchable. Every glance they throw your way trembles with unease because they feel somewhere deep down that the balance is tipping, that the story they tried to control is no longer theirs to write. This is where patience becomes art. Every step you take is deliberate, every silence meaningful. Every action they misread, every miscalculated assumption feeds your momentum. The world trembles under the weight of observation. Oh, the irony. The very ones who thrived on power, cruelty, and manipulation now dance to the rhythm you orchestrate without touching a single string. And what they fail to see is the inevitability of what comes next. Because power born from injustice is not just reaction, it is anticipation. It is the quiet before the storm that breaks with devastating clarity. And here's the most intoxicating part, the one they never see coming. The innocent, once cornered and underestimated, does not just survive, it thrives. Not blindly, not with reckless fury, but with intelligence sharpened by outrage, with patience tempered by focus, with every sense tuned to the movements of the world that tried to destroy them. Every plan they hatched, every sneer they threw, every attempt to humiliate has taught you their patterns, their weakness, their predictability. And now, oh yes, the stage is set for precision beyond imagination. People feel it. They can't name it yet, but they sense it. The world itself seems to shift under the weight of your presence. You are no longer merely reacting, you are shaping reality. And the more they struggle to maintain their illusions of control, the more obvious it becomes. The predator they never considered, the innocent they tried to crush, is the one dictating the pace, the one directing the outcome, the one forcing the world to confront its own mistakes. And yet the question lingers in the air, one that hums with inevitability. How far will this unstoppable force go? How many illusions will shatter before the full weight of reckoning is realized? How long before they understand that attacking the innocent was not just a crime, it was the spark that awakened something greater than their comprehension? Yes, the world now feels it. The power of the cornered, the rising predator of clarity and focus, is undeniable. And what comes next will leave no doubt about who truly controls the narrative. When the world finally sees the innocent standing tall, chaos isn't the end, it's the beginning. Oh, can you hear it? That low hum vibrating through everything, the tension coiling tighter with every heartbeat? Yeah, it's here. The moment they never expected, never prepared for. The one they thought would bend, crumble, and vanish has risen sharp as steel, focused beyond reckoning. Nah, this is not desperation, this is inevitability. Every slight, every attack, every act of cowardice they threw at you has forged a precision so lethal it hums in the air, waiting for release. Look around. The world shifts beneath your presence. Those who smiled while you suffered now hesitate. Their confidence fractures under the weight of clarity, the raw, undeniable power of someone who was cornered and refused to bow. Oh wow, the irony is intoxicating. The tables have turned so completely that the very air seems to tremble at the sound of your steps. They wanted fear, they got determination. They wanted submission, they got strategy. And now they must face the storm they set in motion. Every move you make is deliberate. Every glance, every word, every breath resonates with control. They think they can predict, manipulate, or intimidate, but you have rewritten the rules. You have transformed outrage into insight, anger into clarity, injustice into strategy. Oh, the beauty of it is undeniable. Every misdeed they committed now amplifies your presence. Every insult, every betrayal, every attempt to crush your spirit is the mortar that built the unstoppable force standing before them. And the weight of it, the weight of inevitability, hits them slowly at first. A twitch here, a hesitation there, subtle but undeniable. They realize too late that the one they attacked, the one they mocked, the one they thought powerless, cannot be stopped. They underestimated patience, focus, and the power of someone who has nothing left to lose but everything to claim. And as that realization spreads, the quiet world of their confidence begins to crumble, piece by piece. This is the reckoning. Not chaos, not mindless destruction. No, it is precision. It is inevitability made manifest. It is the consequence of attacking the innocent, of believing cruelty could define the outcome. People watch, people feel it, and the ones who thought they controlled everything, they are left exposed, their illusions shattered, their dominance irrelevant. Oh, wow. They never understood that underestimating the quiet, the patient, the wronged, would awaken something unstoppable. And now comes the question that lingers, sharp and inescapable. What becomes of a world that has felt the full weight of its own injustice? What happens when the innocent, tempered by suffering and sharpened by focus, claims the narrative, defines the rules, and demands the truth be seen? Nah, there is no going back. The reckoning is not just happening, it is complete. The fire has been lit, the lesson is etched, and the ones who dared attack They are left to confront their own miscalculations, helpless against the inevitability they created. The corners have risen. The quiet has roared. The world trembles. And nothing will ever be the same again. So, this is the truth. The innocent, the cornered, the underestimated, they rise. Nah, you can't ignore it anymore. What they did to you, it's disgusting, unforgivable, and yeah, the world feels it now. Fury isn't just a feeling, it's power. Every injustice, every sneer, every attack has built something unstoppable. And now the story has changed. The rules have shifted. The reckoning is real. So watch closely, because the ones who thought they were untouchable are about to see everything they feared come alive. Remember, the innocent are no longer victims. They are the reckoning itself. They paid a hitman to end you. To bury your name beneath silence and smoke. Why? Because your breath threatened the lies they built. Because your presence reminded them of what they'll never be. You were never invited. You arrived unshaken, unwelcomed. And they hated that. Hated your walk too steady. Hated your eyes too quiet, too knowing, too calm. You didn't flinch when they mocked you, remember that. Didn't fold when they whispered behind gritted teeth. Cowards. They watched your rise like a curse they couldn't reverse. So they called for a shadow. Cold, trained, silent. End them, they said. Make sure they never rise again. But what they didn't know, you were already dead. Dead to comfort, to soft days, to fake smile. You'd buried yourself a dozen times before they noticed. You dug your own grave and called it home. The hitman came, saw your shadow, and hesitated. Why? Because warriors don't beg. They bleed and grin through it. He stepped forward, blade drawn, but so were you. Not with steel, but with scars that had hardened. You didn't need armor, you wore your pain openly. Your chest was a battlefield, your back a monument. Every breath you took defied gravity and graves. He came for blood but found purpose instead, and purpose doesn't bleed. It burns, and it spreads. They thought they were ending a person, a mistake. But what they tried to kill was momentum itself. They tried to silence you, but silence raised you. They tried to shame you, but shame shaped you. They tried to scare you, but you are fear. Not the loud kind. The kind that whispers, I'm still here. The kind that lives in empty rooms, shattered frames. The kind that rises slowly after everything is gone. The hitman flinched, but not because of you. He saw what it takes to stand alone and survive. Saw the ghosts in your eyes, not dead. Reborn. You didn't train in gyms, you trained in pain. You didn't run laps, you ran from demons daily. You didn't follow rules, you broke chains. You broke chains. They paid to erase you, but you rewrote yourself. Not prettier, not polished, but untouchable, untamed, unstoppable. How do you kill someone who's already endured worse? How do you defeat someone who walks through fire? They wanted your end, but became your fuel. Every doubt, gasoline, every betrayal another match. And you lit yourself, burned, raged, roared. You didn't need saving, you became your own rescue mission. Your tears built cities, your rage powered continents. Understand that your silence was not surrender. It was strategy. Every second you held back was sharpening you. Every night you cried was forging steel inside. He looked in your eyes and saw war. Not rage without cause, but rage with precision, poetic destruction. Because you don't fight for revenge. You fight to prove that no one gets to write your obituary, but you. They thought the world would collapse without them. Ha! But you became your own universe, your own gravity. You rose not just higher, but harder, colder, clearer. You didn't just survive, you evolved. You ascended. And that terrified them more than anything, even death. Because now, you're unrecognizable, unbreakable, unkillable. They paid for your coffin, and you sent them bricks. They mailed you hate, and you built empires from it. The hitman came with contracts but left with questions. How does one destroy something that won't stay buried? How do you silence someone born from storms? He left, not defeated, but awakened, terrified, changed. Because he didn't kill you, you converted him. You showed him what resilience looks like in motion. Showed him what it feels like to fight daily. You're not alive because it's easy. You're alive despite the weight, despite the screams, despite the silence. And that makes you dangerous, makes you a myth. People whisper now, did you hear? They survived. Not just bullets, but betrayal, loneliness, the long wait. You stayed, while others fled, you endured. They say time heals, but you became the healer. You stitched your wounds with rage and discipline. You crafted your purpose from broken glass. The hitman came for flesh, but you gave him fear. Came for a name, left haunted by a legacy. You don't walk, you march, you conquer. Your very breath is resistance now, electric defiance. And now, they're watching again, praying you'll fall again. But you've tasted rock bottom and it's flavorless now. You drank from pain's cup and found power. You kissed failure on the mouth and smiled. So what's left to take? What's left to kill? You are not the same. Not the old version. That version died in the dark, alone, forgotten. This version laughs at endings. This one greets pain like an old friend. This one wears scars like royal garments. So send another hitman, send 100. Each one will find what the first one found. Not a corpse, but a curse. Not a man, a movement. You're not just surviving now, you're ascending. And no payment in the world can undo that. You've already been paid in pain, in silence, in time. And you've turned it all into one word, untouchable. You stood in silence, but silence wasn't peace. It was the weight of everything they did to you, pressing down like 1,000 invisible fists. They didn't break you, but they thought you'd fold, didn't they? They watched from the shadows, waiting for your knees to hit the ground. But you didn't beg. You didn't scream. You absorbed every blow like a wall of iron. And when you finally moved, you didn't run. You rose. You didn't cry out for help. You created your own rescue. You learned to swing when your hands were shaking, to walk when your legs were bleeding. You trained your soul in the cold. You carved your name into the fire, sound. And when the hitman came smiling, thinking this would be easy, you didn't flinch. You let him try. You let him aim at your heart, and you showed him a chest armored with scars that refused to open. You weren't the target. You were the trap. He saw your silence and thought it was surrender. But it was strategy. It was the calm before a hurricane built from betrayal, discipline, and rage. You don't need to prove anything anymore. You already did. Every time you stood back up. Every time you stitched your own wounds in the dark. Every time you heard you're finished and answered with action. They said you were done, but you became someone who doesn't end. The version of you that lives now. Unkillable. Because you died already. To your weakness, your doubt, your fear, and came back unrecognizable. They paid a hitman to erase you, but he found a ghost who didn't die. He found a storm in human skin. You didn't just survive the fire. You used it to light your path. You used it to forge steel into your spine. You never wanted to be a monster, but they kept feeding you poison until you learned to digest pain like fuel. Now you burn, not to destroy, but to show them you're still here. You're loud because silence tried to bury you alive. You're dangerous because mercy was never an option they gave you. You're powerful because you were left with no choice but to evolve. So when they see you now, walking like thunder, eyes like war, calm like the eye of a storm, they don't see the hitman anymore. They see the failure in their own plan. You were supposed to fall. You were supposed to disappear quietly. But here you are, louder than ever, heavier than ever, stronger than ever, made from the very darkness they tried to drown you in. You didn't beg for strength, you bled for it. You didn't find courage, you built it from scratch, brick by brutal brick. And when the final hit came, the one meant to end you, you caught it in your teeth and smiled. Because nothing they send can kill you now. You are not the version they knew. You're not the one who begged for approval, who chased crumbs, who waited for fairness. You're the storm that grew teeth, the silence that roars back, the soul that said try again every time they tried to bury you. And now you don't fight like you used to, you fight smarter. You fight without emotion, with focus, with ice in your veins and fire in your heart. You don't swing wild anymore, you strike with purpose. Because every ounce of pain they gave you taught you timing, patience, clarity. And now, you're the test they can't pass. You're the obstacle they can't move. You're the warrior the hitman couldn't kill, and now the only thing that dies is the belief that you could be broken in the first place. So let them come again, let them send 10 more. You'll answer with the weight of everything you've survived, with the roar of every battle you won in silence. Because you were never meant to break. You were meant to rise so violently, so unreasonably, that even the hitman drops his weapon and walks away, whispering to himself, "That's no target. That's a force of nature." You never needed applause. You needed air, and when they took that too, you learned to breathe through the cracks, through the silence, through the pressure, through the dirt they threw. You learned how to expand in a cough. You found movement in chains, vision in darkness, and strength in being unwanted. What they didn't understand is that you didn't want comfort. You wanted truth. And the truth was brutal, sharp, merciless, but so were you. They didn't teach you resilience. They gave you no choice but to become it. You bled into discipline, molded your anger into precision, turned your loneliness into a mirror that reflected nothing but power. You didn't need motivation, you became it. Because when everything went quiet, you heard your own heartbeat, and it wasn't weak. It was war drums. You never needed a crown. You needed to feel the edge of the cliff, so you could grow wings mid-fall. Every time they thought they had you figured out, you changed form. You became smoke when they tried to catch you, fire when they tried to contain you, steel when they tried to bend you. And now you don't react. You calculate. You don't chase. You attract. You don't beg. You build because you've tasted the bottom and found yourself not broken, but reborn. You've watched doors slam and carved tunnels instead. You've seen the fake smiles, the masked words, the eyes that spoke lies while lips said nothing, and you stopped expecting loyalty from those who only know leverage. So now, you trust silence more than speeches. You believe in scars more than promises. And you understand that isolation was not punishment, it was preparation. They didn't exile you, they freed you from illusion. They didn't defeat you, they activated you. And you embraced the weight that was meant to crush you and turned it into armor. You carry what others can't even look at. You've made peace with storms that make others shiver. You don't need calm, you are the calm before the quake. And when they see you now, still walking, still breathing, still unshaken, it terrifies them. Because you were the one they buried, not knowing you were a seed. And the roots you grew are deeper than their lies, thicker than their hate, stronger than their schemes. You don't bloom for them anymore. You burn through the soil wild, untamed, indestructible. Your story was not written in soft ink. It was carved in bone, in grind, in bloodless battles fought behind your eyes every day. You speak softly now, not out of fear, but out of control. Because you don't need noise to be noticed. Your presence rewrites the temperature of every room you enter. You don't intimidate, you remind them of everything they failed to kill in themselves. You don't chase revenge, you walk past it. Because what's more painful than seeing the one you tried to erase rise into something untouchable? You didn't just survive the hitman, you swallowed the bullet and turned it into fuel. You became a message, not a victim, not a warning, but a living message. You cannot kill someone who became death to their own weakness. You made peace with being misunderstood. You even preferred it. Because being seen clearly meant becoming a threat. And threats are targeted. But you're past being a target, now you're a lesson. A living contradiction to their predictions. A storm that doesn't need permission to arrive. You don't need revenge. Your existence is the consequence. And that hitman met something ancient in you. Something primal. Something carved from fire and frost and fury. He saw that you weren't a job. You were a war zone. Every time he aimed, your silence stared back, unbothered, unbroken, unmoved. Because what do you aim at? When your enemy is already beyond death, that's who you are now. Beyond weakness, beyond begging, beyond pain. You've become the thing no weapon can reach. You're the energy that builds empires in the aftermath of destruction. You're the force that answers why me with try me. So let them whisper, let them plot, let them wait. You're not hiding anymore, you're watching, you're learning, adapting, growing teeth where you once had tears. You didn't lose yourself, you upgrade. You didn't fall behind, you forged ahead in silence while they laughed. And now they see the storm coming, wearing your face, and no matter how fast they run, it's already too late. You didn't just survive the ambush, you adapted. You didn't run. You studied their moves, tracked their patterns, memorized their hate. Every scar was a coordinate on your internal war map. They sent the hitman, But they underestimated the silence inside you. You weren't hiding, you were evolving. While they slept, you sharpened your mind. While they laughed, you built your fortress. While they threw dirt, you planted discipline. You turned pressure into fuel, betrayal into ammunition, and doubt into doctrine. You didn't just get back up. You came back different, stronger, sharper, scarier. They thought they were fighting a man. No. They were provoking a machine built in pain, a being stitched together by every failure, every loss, every time someone left you behind. You're not the same. You don't flinch now. You measure. You don't swing wild. You strike precision. They made a mistake. They left you breathing, and now every breath is an oath. An oath to never be that weak again. An oath to never give your power away again. You learned who to trust: yourself, your instinct, your grit, your cold logic when emotions tried to drown you. You're done explaining, done begging, done softening your edge for people who only understand destruction. The hitman felt it, that moment. The moment you stopped running and started hunting. Not with rage, with clarity, with silence so thick it suffocated their confidence. You made fear tactical. You wore pain like armor. You looked into the mirror and said, this is where the legend begins. Not when you're celebrated, but when you're counted out, dragged, forgotten, betrayed, and still rise with a calm that terrifies louder men. They wanted you to disappear. You multiplied. They pushed you into darkness. You turned it into strategy. They said, you'll break. You said, watch me bend and build. Because that's what they don't understand. You're not fragile. You're forged. Tempered in fire, matured in storms, trained by chaos itself. You don't fear pressure anymore. You make it fear you. You don't hope to be understood. You prepare to be attacked. Because people fear what they cannot label. And you're not a category, you're not a phase, you're a force of nature reborn from ground zero. You didn't cry when they walked away, you celebrated. You didn't collapse when they lied, you recalculated. Every failure was a breadcrumb leading you home, not to safety, but to power. This isn't about revenge anymore, it's about becoming untouchable. Becoming someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives in environments designed to crush others. You walk through fire now, not to prove a point, but because it's your native element. You were never meant for comfort, you were meant for conquest. And you don't need armies, you are the invasion. Every step forward, a funeral for your past limit. Every silence you keep, a roar waiting behind your teeth. Every rejection, a blessing in brutal disguise. They hired a killer and sent him after a ghost, but he found you instead, fully alive, terrifyingly aware and weaponized by purpose. Not angry, focused, not loud, deliberate, not unstable, unshakable. And that hitman, he didn't fail because he missed. He failed because he underestimated what pain made of you. A being without fear, without pause, without weakness, left exposed. You turned pain into strategy, loneliness into discipline, silence into command. Every day you carry weight no one sees, but they feel it when you speak. They hear it in your breath. They see it in your eyes, the dead stare of someone who's been through war and chose to stay standing. You didn't survive the battlefield. You became it. You didn't run from the enemy. You became the one they avoid. You don't flinch at chaos. You architect it now, because you realize no one is coming to save you, and that was your power all along. You don't need rescuing. You need space to grow without limits. You don't fear the dark. You operate in it now. Every time someone doubted you, you thanked them, because it removed the mask, exposed the game, and gave you clarity to strike. They called you too much. You became too unstoppable, too quiet. You became their loudest regret. Too cold, you became untouchable. Too dangerous, you smiled, because finally they see you clearly. Now your name carries a warning, Not because of volume, but because of presence. Because when you walk in, the weak leave the room. Not out of fear, but out of recognition. You remind them of what they chose not to become. You didn't take shortcuts, you ate pain for breakfast. You didn't wish for power, you bled for it. You didn't pray for light, you became the storm cloud that blocks it. This is your era. Not because they believe in you now, but because you no longer care if they do. You've crossed the line, not to escape them, but to escape the version of yourself that waited for permission. And now, you don't ask, you take. You don't explain, you execute. You don't react, you respond with the precision of a blade that knows exactly where to cut. You didn't just survive, you became the thing they fear appearing in their nightmares. The one who doesn't break, doesn't beg, and never backs down. They sent a hitman to bury you, and instead they built a legend. You were never weak, you were just untrained, unfinished, unarmed with the truth. And that truth, you were always the threat, the storm, the disruption. They didn't see it. Of course not, because you wore humility like a cloak. You kept your mouth shut, your moves quiet, your pain buried. But now, you're not hiding anymore. You're showing your teeth. You're not apologizing for the burn you bring. You're turning the temperature up until they melt. They had their shot, they had their moment, they had their advantage, and they wasted it. They played you once, never again. You're not built for games anymore. You're built for war. Strategic, precise, emotionally armored. You've ripped out the part of you that hesitated, that hoped for fairness, that waited for a helping hand. That version of you, dead and buried in silence. They thought your silence was weakness. It was preparation. They thought your retreat was surrender. It was a reset, a recalibration, a ruthless reprogramming of your mental operating system. You burned everything soft inside you, left only the core made of steel, fire, and command. Now, you're no longer reactive. You're surgical. You don't talk. You execute. You don't announce. You dominate in silence. You don't show them your moves. You show them results that echo like thunder across every room you enter. You walk in, and suddenly everyone's breathing changes. They feel the gravity shift, because they know something's arrived that doesn't beg, doesn't break, and doesn't bleed easy. This world, it respects power. It respects resilience. It respects the one who kept walking after being gutted by betrayal, failure, and exhaustion. That's you now, the one who walked through betrayal like it was weather, the one who turned insults into strategy, rejection into ritual, and isolation into invincibility. Let them call you cold. Let them call you distant. Let them say you changed. Because yes, you did change. You outgrew their lies. You outgrew their comfort zone. You outgrew the limits they built for you, around you, to keep you small, tame, and silent. But you cracked every ceiling with your silence. You shattered every label with your result. You didn't need a stage. You became the earthquake beneath it. And now, they don't clap, they freeze. They don't congratulate, they calculate, because you're no longer in their category. You're not competition anymore, you're an extinction event for the average. You don't flinch when abandoned. You rebuild faster alone. You don't collapse in failure. You collect data and reload with venom. You don't scream in pain. You smile, because pain means you're close to evolving again. Every scar you carry, it's a barcode, scanned by fate to unlock your next transformation. No one can stop this version of you now. Why not? Because you no longer operate from emotion, you operate from execution. You no longer beg for peace. You walk with power that demands it. You no longer ask for a seat. You dismantle the table, rebuild it with stone, and sit alone if you must. This isn't hunger anymore. This is destiny calling your name in the battlefield wanes. You didn't change for attention. You changed because the version of you that settled had to die. And now, the only thing more dangerous than your pain is your peace. Because now you're calm, and nothing is more terrifying than someone calm in chaos. You walk into the fire now, not to prove anything, but because that's where kings are forged. You don't dodge bullets anymore. You absorb impact and reload with strategy. every setback, fuel, every insult, blueprint, every failure, flashlight on your blind spot. They gave up on you. Good. It freed you to stop carrying their expectations and start building your own throne out of every time they underestimated your silence, your solitude, your soul on fire. You're not a soldier anymore. You're a general of your own war. You're not climbing ladders. You're bending from the rubble they left behind. You don't chase approval now. You are the standard others fail to meet. Your name, it echoes now, not because of noise, but because of impact. They told you to slow down. You sped up. They told you to be careful. You became lethal. They told you to stay small. You broke the cage, walked out with fire in your eyes, and never looked back. You didn't just prove them wrong, you became the reason they doubt everyone else now. You don't need a plan B, because plan A is war, and war is what built you. You don't need anyone's light, because you became the fire that scorched every lie they fed you about your limits, your worth, your future. This is the last version of you they'll ever underestimate, because this version no more shrinking. You're done explaining your evolution to those who only understand your old self. You've upgraded, and upgrades don't apologize. Let them fear you now. Let them doubt quietly. Let them gossip, mock, or sabotage. None of it touches you anymore. You're out of reach because you're out of their reality now.